Hot air rises. Heavy objects fall. Magnetized metals either attract or repel each other. And no matter in what order I multiply 5 numbers, I always get the same result. Scientists and mathematicians alike have discovered many of the natural laws of our universe. Chemistry, physics, biology, and mathematics continue to expand our knowledge so we can better understand our world. These laws, in turn, help us make sense of life, creating predictability and security. It was not always so. In the pre-scientific world, unexplained phenomena were always recognized as the power of God. Life seemed more precarious, for we never knew what mood God was in. We know better now not to attribute all unknown phenomena to a God we have come to doubt even exists. In fact, for many, science has become the new God, the better authority we turn to. But what do we do when science meets an obstacle and cannot provide us with the predictability and security we seek? While many work diligently towards a solution to the COVID-19 pandemic, we must look beyond science for guidance on how to get through these uncertain times. Today, we first look at the Israelites who were wandering in the desert, trying to make sense of life and not knowing what to do. Firstly, they complained about not enough food, and then not enough water, and then missing their old beds and their favorite meals. And then later on, when they were feeling abandoned by Moses and by God, they took matters into their own hands. They made themselves a golden idol, a golden calf, and decided to worship it. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what action you take, as long as it gives you a sense of being decisive and in control. Today, there are those who would find satisfaction by making an idol out of many different things, such as wealth, or power, or work, or even fitness. Any one of them by their own is not a bad thing. But, for example, we seek economic growth regardless the human cost or the environmental degradation. The main problem with worshiping idols is that it tends to give us a skewed view of reality, bestowing inordinate meaning to things like the amount of money we have, or the power we wield, or the work we produce, or the level of fitness we achieve. Every single one of us is worth much more than these one-dimensional qualities. There is an interrelatedness to all of life, something science is just beginning to understand, but that the ancient Israelites learned out there in the desert. Although there may be some historical core to the story of Exodus in the Bible, its main significance is the recounting of the development of the budding relationship between the people of God and God's very self, this source of all life. This was a relationship built on mutual respect and affection, generosity and humility. Surrounded by those who worshipped multiple gods of dubious character and ever-changing temperament, and in a world where slavery and subjugation were commonplace, the Israelites found meaning out of life by taking a new path. In today's passage in chapter 20 of the book of Exodus, the people receive the 10 Commandments, a summary of the laws that are to govern this relationship between the people and God. They are laws to live by. These are not the laws of science that deal with predictability and certitude. They cannot be, because they deal with that much more complex field of relationships. Why do people do what they do? What gives my life meaning? How do I overcome tragedy? And where do I find love and a sense of belonging? Despite the advances in so many areas of science, we all search for the answers to these questions that science was never meant to answer. Today, we have with us a whole delegation of guests from the natural world. And they have selected a representative who would like to speak with us. I'm told they call her Mother.
Good day to all humans. We know of your 10 Commandments, and we approve. Honor your mother and father who brought you into the world. Don't murder, cheat, lie, or be jealous of one another. And most importantly, honor the source of all life before you honor anything else. Stop working once a week so you have time to reflect on these laws and your place in the world. When you sit back and survey the world, as I do, you can observe those who disregard your laws and the consequences. They create wars to gain personal advantage. They cannot be trusted because they lie and cheat and steal. They allow their fears and insecurity to lead to greed. They seek power above all else. They deny their relationship with other human beings and with all of us, the natural world. They are on a path of self-destruction. You can also observe those who follow your laws. They resist the strong currents of society that would have you always competing with one another. They stop to give thanks. They leave room for awe. They appreciate the majesty and the magnificence of the natural world. They work to undo the damage human beings have inflicted on us before they were even aware. They recognize that they are an integral part of what keeps us all healthy. Despite how hard it is, they practice respect, cooperation, and humility, realizing that none of us knows exactly how all the different parts of life fit together. I call them resistance fighters, for they swim against the current of popular opinion. They hold themselves accountable to a higher power. They understand that whether they live or whether they die on this earth plane, the legacy of their time here carries on and affects generations to come. You know, we non-humans will probably survive on this planet despite human activity. But I'm not sure you will, for you are fast destroying your human habitat. Whether you realize it or not, the survival of the world as we know it today depends on the growing numbers of your resistance fighters. Here is my advice. Join up to serve the world. We all need you.